future. However, let's get the map veto ready, and we'll go through that for you, and then we'll take a look at where we're going to play between these teams before we get the community vote and get into the game.
Yeah, so there's Villa Border theme park removed. Not surprising that Empire are banning that. They haven't played theme park yet. Cafe's Coastline is the last one removed, even though Empire have not had a great track record on it, and it's Team Empire that are starting on the attacking side of Clubhouse. Of course, that Coastline ban was Vitality, so they're the ones that held the final map to be played. So fair enough. We're going to go to Clubhouse. It's the same map, if I'm not mistaken, that Vitality played Rogue on last play day. So it didn't look great. Maybe there's something for them to prepare here against Empire, because usually Empire are very good on Clubhouse unless they're playing Force. That's it. What do you guys think? Watching from home, give us your ideas on this matchup. Percentages, Empire Vitality. Fair enough.
Unsurprising.
Not at all. Both teams have kind of had a sloppy second half. I think that's a good way of putting it. And at least here, it's a lot more reflective towards Team Empire, because they're fighting back in their matches. They're going for those comebacks. Vitality, once you kind of break them down, there's no way for them to come back in the game. And I don't know if, again, it is more of a mental problem. It happens, but it's something you kind of have to get used to and get over at some point as a full squad. We'll see the preparation. Vitality going for the first ban, a Maverick. So I won't be ranting about Maverick today, at least not for now. He's already out. Who's the second attacker that's going to be taken away? Team Empire are the ones banning. Going to be Thatcher. No, Capitao. All right, fair enough.
Capitao being banned consistently is a little interesting, because Wamai obviously hard counters him, and a lot of teams have been running Wamai. By banning Capitao, you allow that Wamai pick to focus on other utility that's going to be thrown on in or shot on in. So, I mean, I understand why teams don't want to deal with him, but as we're starting to see movement on the defender meta ever so slightly, especially in this one, you're going to have Maestro, Echo, and Mira all available for Clubhouse. This will be fun to watch, with Goyo and Valkyrie be the remaining bans for the defenders. I wondered if we were going to see the same thing from the attackers and maybe see less of a Capitao ban, because you don't need to ban him if you know that Wamai is going to be on the board, but you'd rather have the Wamai and Jaeger work in tandem with each other and just simply concentrate on other things. Regardless, the Capitao ban and the Maverick ban are not what's really interesting to me. What is interesting to me is what the defenders are going to bring. Vitality have so much to play with when it comes to their 6 defending rounds. And the sky's the limit for this defending loadout and what they choose to go with. It's actually pretty standard for them. They're going to bring double denial for a CCTV and cash, with both Bandit and Kaid coming out. And then what's most interesting is how they're going to apply the alibi. Goga will be running on the 3-speed mischievous operator, usually put up in a position off site to waste time, or manage to be put around the actual site and just kill as much time as possible.
Yeah, and we had this conversation with Rise on an interview a few days ago, and there's a big question. Why you're running the alibi? We know that she might not always be the greatest of picks. It's like, you know what? Sometimes you want the extra impact. Sometimes you want the shield, which obviously both have pieces of the utility that she has in her kit. But also you have the soft destruction of bringing the bailiff, her secondary. You also have the holograms that are very disruptive to some opponents, but then also a pretty good primary. It might not be the best SMG, but the MX4 definitely does a lot of damage, that high rate of fire. So understandable. But there you see a shield and a barricade being put up by the Bandit, and the smoke next to him is to stop the Zofia from crowd controlling that Bandit, making sure that he's not getting stunned every 5 seconds, so can actually focus on a Bandit tricking correctly, because yeah, there's Thatcher here, but you can still outplay him. There's Zofia prepared for it. You're trying to burn off the ADSs that are through. So much utility has been put just to deal with this drone hole, and it's usually a very sound strategy to deal with it this way. Bandit's gonna go in. You can't stun the Bandit. You can't deal with them here. There's a barricade and a shield. You have to destroy those first, at least deal with them in some way with grenades. So very well done there. It's zapping utility away from Empire early on.
Rough start for Empire, but still tons of time for them to be able to pull something off. They'll turn their sights towards construction, with both Joystick and Dan watching the area that's now been opened up and beginning to take from that side of things. be a little bit wary of somebody flanking you, so I would imagine we're going to see another flank drone get established, even though there already is one from Empire on red stairs, or main stairs if you want to call it rather, because red tends to be over on the other side. Waiting for a call to come in to then do more greater soft destruction here as Karjeka is inside of construction alone. He's engaging in a fight, and he's a little apprehensive about getting these X-Kairos down on the wall. I don't know if he's assuming that there might be a bandit there. Maybe there's a Kaid. You can see the top of that roof, or the top of the wall has been shot out. Why? Well, you can simply impact grenade and destroy anything that gets put on there by the hard destructors. Frag grenade tossed from below, but does not connect. Empire are swinging, but missing on almost every single fight so far.
They're not able to find a single entry, and there's the impacts coming out. Even tricking here done by both the bandit and the great synergy. Empire are going to try to go in for this take on the server wall, and they're finally going to be successful with it as Zofia is watching to make sure that it happens. But look at the amount of time that is wasted. This is so good for Vitality. All 5 players are left alive. You have a ton of utility left. And your shields, all of that is still up. You can use those. And Empire aren't even set to enter. They only have the doorways that are physically built into the map to walk through. And if the Buck can find anyone below, then it's not going to be a good time. Your flanks are going to be open. Grenade thrown in from stock into the lounge will not connect with anyone. You're opening hatch to maybe drop in, but the Cotton's going to lose a gunfight. Only one shot will connect on the Scyther, but there's Bride and Goga connecting. 3 players in, but Empire collapse with kills onto both sites, and Cash just falls apart. What happened?
That was such a good setup, especially with time that we saw from Vitality. But man, they just got overpowered when the push came in, and it turns out that construction was indeed the appropriate play. Vitality had stacked up so much on that CCTV wall that Cash was the preferred site and the preferred take, and Empire made the right call. Halfway through that round, when we saw Joystick peel off of logistics and head towards the main stairs, is when things really started to turn. You had the Buck then move into Jim to help and try to assist the Hibana that was playing inside of construction, and ultimately Empire, through that calling, I don't know if it was orchestrated by somebody in game, or if it was always a conscious decision, if they knew that they were going to have too much adversity on the wall. I'm not sure, but we don't have access to the comms. We can just speculate. It doesn't matter whether it was or was not called. It was the right play for Empire to make, and overpowering and outmuscling their opponents is something that Empire is very good at. And unfortunately, Vitality have not always had the greatest team effort when it comes to defense or attack so far this season. They've had some good standout performances, but when Empire is firing on all cylinders, there are very few teams that can push them back. You can see the depth from Empire there, as almost everybody got in on the action. Karjeka with an assist. He's the only one without a kill, so very nearly a team ace. And that's the type of thing that you want to see from Empire if you're a fan of theirs. That's what you need to see from Empire, because that's ultimately what gives them the edge and allows them to win, is when all of the team works together.
I have to say, though, Vitality, at least from this first round, have shown that they're still exhibiting the same symptoms of the problem that they had in the past playdate and the ones before. Is that they will have everything going their way, and then suddenly it all collapses in on itself. For some reason, there's some hole that's happening, and unfortunately, we can't spectate everybody and see everything that's happening all the time. I wish we could. Maybe then we can find that weakness that Vitality is exhibiting and how they're falling apart in such advantageous positions. One thing I also want to highlight is that Empire are running their players and operators that sometimes they might not be the most comfortable with, at least historically speaking. Usually, you're not expecting seeing Joystick playing the Thatcher. Dan usually isn't the one that's running that Buck. It's usually Karjeka. So you have the switcheroo because everybody's trying out new roles, trying to see if something new might fit. And sometimes that change tends to bring in a bit of fresh air to the squad, as logistics will be taken.
So, here we go. It's going to be a different bomb site this time, as Vitality is quick to not repeat errors that they have made in the past. They're going to go down below. Teams do tend to treat Cache CCTV and then the Church Arsenal bomb sites as a 1-2 style of deal. And it shouldn't really surprise you that, well, If you can't win on one of the most defendable sites, on one of the most defendable maps, then you're going to go to the other one that gives you quite the advantage here. So, like with most teams, you're going to want to take that second floor first, or with most maps, you want to take that second floor first. The difference is with Clubhouse is that while for a long period of time, this bomb site down below didn't really necessitate any roaming, there have been a couple teams that have decided to try this and have done so largely because of what Mozzie brings to the table, especially when joined with a Vigil or even a Mute on this board. A Legion can be exceptionally helpful as well, as he gives information and can shut down certain areas while playing from above. These tools are present for Vitality, so you can see, well, there's a Mute and a Legion there, but it depends on whether they're going to actively roam or not. With how quickly Empire have been able to take this map control, I would suspect that they're going to be sitting a little bit closer to site. The first altercation occurs with about 40 seconds left in the round, so not a lot of time. This is what tends to be quite standard, as you need to do an awful lot before you can pressure both of these bomb sites, and both Berde and Dan will lose a little bit of HP, and Scyther will join alongside of them as well. No kills yet, though, for either of these teams.
The joystick's rotating real quick there to try and put some pressure from blue, but Dan's going to find a grenade on the Bibu. He's pushed up a bit too close to the doorway into Moto. You've taken down one, and you still have to deal with the other on the site, and maybe one extra by blue that's holding down that default angle. That's Hungry. Dan is already in. He's found one kill, and if you can find Hungry, this will be a great entry for Empire to plant, but they're on B. The whole point here is to delay, and Vitality too slow on the response side. They should be able to put this. Oh no! Literally 100 milliseconds left, and the smoke timed at the perfect moment hits the angle, and the Habana could not plant. What a play there from Vitality. They lost half of the map, half of their sites. The plant was on the other side inside of Armory, and they had the right response at the right time. So very well done there. Vitality are going to get the round back and tie it 1-1, but man, was it close.
That came down to exactly 0 seconds. I think if you go back and you really look at it, yeah, I think it might even be a little bit closer than that. I would be extremely frustrated if I'm Empire. But for Vitality, they had two people that were inside a dirt tunnel with no escape in sight. Empire really could have been able to lock that down, well played from the smoke to be able to get out and toss down the toxic canister in time. I don't know. I know you said it was very well timed by the smoke. I don't necessarily think that it was a deliberate timing. No. I think it was probably a lack of coordination, and then just, oh no, plant's going down, default spot, get the smoke canister down as quickly as you can. That's what I would say.
I completely agree with you. At this point, Vitality should have had a response way before. The smoke was running back down through dirt to find, the canister that it can throw out, and yeah, it was in that case very well timed. But I really hate it when people say, yeah, it might have been not the smartest thing to do, but it worked. It means it's good. No, it was bad, and you know it's bad. You shouldn't do it this way again. Learn from that mistake, because it was a mistake, and you only got lucky that you won that round in that way. Because yeah, maybe you could have killed the planter and the diffuser was set. Maybe you could have done something to fight back and retake, but you didn't put yourself in the right positions for it, and you already lost people for free before that. Yeah, sure, you burned a lot of time, but we can tell that Vitality they might be good at burning time, but they're not good at the follow-up, which is staying alive once the final 20 seconds come into play. We saw that in the first round. We saw that earlier in this week in another playdate, and even the week before that. It's clear to see.
There's a bit of damage that's done to Dan, and he cannot win that gunfight. He gets pounced upon as they encircle him and manage to take him out of action. Goga gets down for his troubles. It looks like he'll be getting reset, though, as the marks from the drones will enable Empire to maybe be a bit more aggressive here. There goes a yokai drone as well. Good calling, and Berde will lose one of his two little robotic gadgets. And with it, the information that really came.
Gotta check out walking in from below. Got lobby control now into lounge. Joystick will find Bibu, trying to make it a 4v4. Here will be successful. Goga's taking a lot of damage. And he'll go for the gunfight. Oh, he swings wide at Shepard on the refrag. Stigi, though, pounces on a Scyther with the SMG-11 and then walks right on back through construction and into bedroom, wasting a lot of time. and taking out players that are very essential at this point, for Team Empire. With only 2v3 and an Echo still alive, you got your 2 hard breachers and a lot of work to do.
Here it looks like the exothermic charge will be able to go off with the Amana on the other side of the map, just waiting very patiently. That's Jacuzzi Wall. It's quite an accomplishment for Empire to open it up.
No, what can you do in the last 35 seconds? You're going to break open whatever you can. Saving grace here for Empire that Vitality opted to not bring the castle. It would have made it a bit more difficult for the attack. They're might trying to pressure in from that gym window, maybe into bedroom, but I don't know what the plan is. Do you go and plant inside of the bedroom? If you had one extra player to help you, it would be great, because at least you have someone covering you from the window. But Shepard's the one's carrying the diffuser. Stigi will find 1 kill. You know what the last one is, making a lot of noise. Swing wide into Jim, and Stigi will find another kill here. Actually, longer angle into it, and Vitality victorious in another round.
Much cleaner from Vitality there. And honestly, they won that out a lot on time. If you look at how long it took Empire to finally get their ducks in a row, it was 35 seconds when that Jacuzzi Wall got opened up. Everybody was all kind of split up. They'd lost that opening pick. And then Vitality, after Dan went down, then we saw a very clear attempt from Empire to try and salvage that round very early on, and ultimately weren't able to quite get it the way that they wanted to. Empire are struggling quite a lot through the mid to later portions of these last 2 rounds. Church, it must have been bad calling from Empire to not have the members of Vitality who you'd isolated. I don't know if they were aware that they'd isolated them, but you didn't do much to keep them caged inside of Dirt Tunnel and prevent the smoke from really being able to do any work. That previous round on Jim really came down to, it took Empire way too long to actually get into cache and get into CCTV and get a pick and continue moving. And that's where things started to slowly fall apart. And this has been the story for Empire. This split is their communication looks like it's off. I don't know what their comms are like. I don't know what their team, atmosphere is like. But it certainly seems like they just aren't communicating properly, and they are not following up on one another. Joystick was just a second or 2 off of being able to help Dan. I don't know why, but he just wasn't able to do all that much to save Dan in that previous round. And then after you lose the buck, that's such a huge operator. I'm always puzzled by what's going on with Empire, and this match so far is no different. But I mean, it's by no means a fatal blow to them being down by 1 after 3 rounds, especially on a Clubhouse defense.
Yeah, and again, we have to put this into perspective for people that have just come in watching, and they're new. They don't really know how this works on the pro level, but when it comes to Clubhouse, the map naturally funnels attackers in. There's a lot of stuff that are added to the checklist of the attackers that they need to deal with, and you saw the amount of time that you can waste just by hinting at the fact that you're roaming in the top floor. We saw on that church defense. So all of that means that you're going to be short on time, you're going to be short on utility, and the attackers usually struggle a bit more. Their Maverick also being banned means that you're not going to have that easy of a job opening up these reinforced walls to gain bigger angles to walk in. All of that compounds to make it more difficult for Team Empire and a bit easier for Vitality, even with the Goyo being banned. That was Empire's choice. But Empire, no, they've learned from the mistake that they had earlier in the first round, and they're actually going to try pressuring from construction way earlier than what they had in that round in the beginning.
Trying to draw somebody out with just a bit of attention being given by Dan right now, who is once again unsupported as he tries to get in, and there he goes. He will be very successful as he is inside a stock and begins to buck away. Disorienting upside down repel from the Thatcher of Joystick as he's now out of abilities, and well, it doesn't actually look like it got the wall. Either that or it was very adeptly tricked immediately by Vitality. So no EMPs left in this final minute shootout for Empire. They've got the Kaid downstairs, but the moment that barricade is broken, position is going to be given away, and it's Joystick that's going to try to hunt down Bibu as Bibu hears that barricade go, and so too goes the Kaid. Droning up top to see if there's anybody playing on rafters. There's an Echo up there, and in walks Joystick, and that's one of the freest kills that he's ever gotten. Goga, nobody is watching. Bibu had fallen off, and the communication must not have been there. Stiggy pounces back and answers back, and now Joystick has full control from above. He's going to take an awful lot of damage, and it's back to a 3v3. These teams trading out endlessly, nobody giving an inch at the moment, though the destructive capabilities of the attackers have allowed them greater line of sight into the bomb site itself. A is their intended target, and they'll need to go in. Shepard looking for the call. There's one for Stiggy, but Vitality's guns are just better right now. Far hotter, leaving Karzeka in a do-or-die situation to retrieve that diffuser and find the 3 remaining members of Vitality, but it looks like it won't be able to happen. He can't find even one of them before Berde shuts him down, and Vitality will take their 3rd in a row. That's a perfect cycle for them. It comes halfway through this first half, but they're putting this defender-sided Clubhouse to good use.
Very much. At 3 rounds, your base minimum. At 4 rounds, you're sitting pretty for the side switch. So at 6 rounds, that's what's going to happen. 2 more left after this one. The fact that Joystick was able to walk through Garage and find that free kill, as you said, that is the freest kill he has had in a long time. You walk up and you find a kill on the catwalk. That's the Echo, a big kill to get. Then you walk in to try and pressure into servers. Unfortunately, this was the last second decision for him to walk in, and you can tell Empire trying to pressure from Cash at the same time. 4 players actually were lined up inside of construction to push into Cash, but none of them could really do anything because you didn't have the right angles. The buck was too far back. Nobody played in the beginning to pressure from the stock into lounge to destroy any utility from below. It was just that Empire had the right ops and the right utility to deal with the defenders, but they didn't actually employ them at all or really in the right time. And once there were so few seconds left, you'd imagine if Joystick hadn't even come up the catwalk in Garage, there wouldn't have been much pressure that Empire would have been able to put. They would just try to push into Cash and hope to God that they find the few players that are on the site and get some kills, but that's not a way to do it. And Vitality definitely showed them that, hey, you can do it once, you're not going to do it twice. Vitality, though, will be going back down to Church, which should, in theory, help them out here. They're setting up their yokai drones. Bibu is setting up also those mute jammers on the top floor to fake a roam out. You can also roam in here if you want, but the minimum you're trying to do is just waste time. Waste as much time as humanly possible. Team Empire have been having a bit of a problem in managing their time bank, and maybe something Vitality can exploit.
It's funny because it's Empire doing the Vitality of old, which is a take too long to actually push the site that we've come to expect from Vitality, which was, for those that have not been around long enough to remember the old Vitality, back when it was Spark and Rafal and Zafir on this roster, etc. You know, this was a team that would drone meticulously and then in the final 20 seconds would push all together. It was the original 20-second meta.
And just to cut you off here, I just want to highlight it to people on top, is that when people mention Vitality in this case, it's because they were also so very good at playing it that way. There wasn't as much utility, sure, but they held the right angles through the last 10 seconds of the round, and they just had 2 players push in, one to get kills, one to plant, and then the others would just all be holding angles because they already have the drones in, they already have the flank drones set up. The Vitality did their homework in the past, and here it's kind of Empire falling into that same mentality, but without the execution.
I can't believe that C4 didn't do greater damage to Dan with how close in proximity it was. I feel a little cheated upon replay when Vitality does go to watch this one back, because that probably should have done a little bit more damage to Dan where he was positioned. I'm very surprised by that. And honestly, that alone could be a major deciding factor in this round. Yokai has been spotted over in the corner as Scyther is waiting for the drop. There he goes. It decides to move, and he's poised and ready to take it down. It's Vitality's had some issues keeping these Yokais up, but it hasn't really mattered that much because the information that they provide and the possible disorientation as well have not been as crucial as you'd expect. Mira, Maestro, and Echo are all unbanned, and Vitality is capable of running any of those, just as Empire will be when they swap on over. But those 2 Evil Eye cams are both positioned inside of the site. They can look down the long hallway where Dan is going to just take a peek at it. It's, of course, The Evil Eye is directed over towards blue. There's a dirt tunnel push coming in from Karzeka. It's going to be very late, 25 seconds. Not an abundance of time, but he's getting droned in and he loses the gunfight. That's Brede playing inside of dirt tunnel. The man will need to use his smokes to great effect in case the diffuser gets planted. And there you go. Scyther is getting it down. Nobody's watching. Empire is back control. 2 kills from Dan traded out by Brede. And the diffuser does not go down. This is where things get really problematic for Empire. They're going to have to fight for kills here. But Goga and Brede are going to last long enough. And they don't even need time. It's an ace from Brede. My God, the smoke gets every kill. Good Lord. He is so clutch. Name somebody in EU who clutches as effectively as he does. Doesn't even need utility to do it. That's 4-1 for Vitality.
One player was already down. He got the right position at the right time. Playing inside of dirt. If the Hibana could not push him out of that position, the smoke is going to survive. And that was so immensely well done by Brede. Putting Vitality on 4-1 is huge. It guarantees them a very big positive outcome in this matchup. We talked about it in the interview with Joystick a few days ago. Empire are way more comfortable on the attack. This is Clubhouse, a map that historically they've been very good on, and they're starting on their attacking side, where they can have control of the drones and the information. Even with all of that, Empire, unfortunately, are struggling. And Vitality might have had, you can call it a fluke round or two there where they were saved by the bell, but in the past couple rounds, they were so effective at halting Team Empire. It seems like both teams are trying to adapt one another, but Vitality are staying one step ahead, and they're making sure that they're not falling into that mindset of, yeah, okay, we did it, it's fine, we just keep doing it the same way, that they're looking back at the last round and they're giving the right call to adapt to what their mistake was. Triple reinforcement? No, there's a rotation Brede opening it up. You talked about the Mira, she's not banned. Something very unusual in Europe, that's for sure, but we're going to see her in play here, and this is to fight this take that Empire had a couple rounds back when Vitality were defending in Gym Bedroom, and where they eventually were able to gain victory.
So here goes nothing for Empire. Really, I'm trying not to downplay how Vitality has played because they have done quite well. But the greater story in this matchup has, to me, been Empire's inability to seem as coordinated as they could be. Some of these attacks have just downright looked off for Empire, and I get it. And there are going to be people who will inevitably get angry with the fact that we are focusing so much on Empire versus, praising the way that Vitality has played. Vitality's played just fine, but they haven't really been doing anything extraordinary. It's been more that Empire have not been the ones to capitalize off of what have been decent drone work, what has been decent utility usage, but they just are not in step with one another. On the very final defense for Vitality, this might get a little bit more challenging for Empire, and that's because Vitality is going to bring the Mira out. And of course, subbing out the Maestro and the Echo for a different style of intel operator, with those big black mirrors being able to stare you down. There's still a Hibana on the board. Empire have been running a lot of times 2 hard breachers, and Hibana is incredible at being able to take down mirror windows a lot better than you see out of a Thermite.
Look at all those flashbangs being thrown in, and yeah, this is how we deal with the Mira window. But anyone can swing around the corner. There's some utility being thrown. Oh no. The mistake from the grenade there. This is why they took Buck's grenades away from him. This sort of mess up there happening by Dan on the Buck. Look at the amount of drones that Empire have also lost. They've lost 1, 2, and 5 in total. 7 in total. They're left with only 3, one of them not deployed, 2 of them probably to watch their flanks. That's a lot of information that Empire cannot gather anymore, and they don't know where Vitality are actually poised to strike. 5 of them are alive, no damage done to Vitality, and they still have a lot of utility to fight with. Even the Mira not bringing Nitrocell. She's going for the barbed wire to slow things down. And will he be successful? Yes, he will. Goga saving the day in bathroom, giving a ton of info.
Final 30 seconds now for this to be played off of, and Bibu just cannot connect, doing a little bit of damage here and there, helter-skelter to Empire, but for right now, nothing really else is occurring. There's quite a bit of slowness, and, well, Almost getting Bibu as Shepard, but he's a little bit too slow to do that. Guns will finally need to come alive, and it's Vitality to take advantage of this. It's Empire running into a wall with even less time now. They are still just lagging behind. Not enough control. There's one for Shepard. He'll need to swing this back in his favor, but no, Goga able to do that work. From down below, it's Stiggy, and the kill feed yet again is Vitality's. 5-1 on defense on Clubhouse is good, but against a team like Empire, it's oftentimes unprecedented. I think the first real shock that Empire ever got on this map was against FaZe Clan at the Raleigh Major about 8 to 9 months ago. And well, it seems like Vitality was very pregnant with an idea as to how to take out Empire.
Man, it happened for his Empire. It happened with FaZe Clan shutting them down. And here, it's Vitality. I mean, how they're finding every answer. And the answer is, don't give Empire any information. They starve them for info. I know, again, I keep saying it, but we don't mention the drones being destroyed all the time because we're seeing them and there's just so much to talk about that we're trying to segment the right things to mention in the moment. But you guys can see them also yourselves at home when the drones are destroyed, are out, or in the back pocket. And Empire had little to no information, and in that last round, man, Goga was so effective playing the Bandit. We used to talk about him, playing more support positions as the Valkyrie, for example, for Vitality and other teams when he used to play on G2. Eunice on that squad was well known for being the Bandit player, and Goga was in support of him playing the Valkyrie. In this case, he's running the Bandit so well that he made it so Bathroom was indestructible, untenable for Team Empire. But now Empire on the defense. They have to reset. They have Echo, so they have some drones to play with. They have the Wamai and Jaeger combination, and they're bringing smoke, which means, you have to sacrifice the Cloud, so you can't duo with the Bandit and the Cloud. But it seems like this is just trying to slow things down from Vitality. You can still exploit the time and run it down effectively. There's tricking happening, and I assume the other two will be set down. Yeah, there's the Bandit, and there's the charge. Bam. No X-Kairos left. They're all done. Big mistakes there from Stiggy.
Yeah, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And now the Bandit will also get chased off of the wall, but Vitality try to burst on in. Crossfire established. Dan is better at the top of red stairs, looking for a third. Cannot connect fully. He's got 2 kills so far, looking for the remainder of the Thatcher. Karjaka gets in on the fun. A spray through the wall that's been opened up here by Hungry, as he is also looking for more. It's both the Zofia and the Thatcher remaining as Vitality decides to buck the trend of going for the final 20-second push and instead barrel on in. But they crash and they trip on the execute, leaving Empire in a great position to close this one out. Additionally, one of the members of Vitality who pushed in had that diffuser, so it's been dropped. And things will be very tricky for Vitality. They still have a tiny bit of utility, but basically not enough to make anything happen here. I struggle to see, barring a rotate, how Vitality is going to make this work.
Me neither. And it was so smart from Vitality figuring this out, though. Dan was focusing on Garage, and that there's only a Bandit. He's the only one that can do anything against you. The Habana forced the Bandit to stay downstairs by using all of the X-Kairos. That was the plan from Stiggy. And in the meantime, the push was focused on server. Unfortunately, you're walking in, Empire read into you. It's counter-stratting the counter-strat, and they took you down. Bride, what he doesn't know is that there's somebody watching for him and even more angles being opened up. One around the corner here inside a garage, and if you only knew, you could find a great kill there through the wall. There's the Yokai drone that'll confirm the position, and Bride will have to fall back. We talked about split pushes. It's the requirement, but when you're so low on HP and on manpower, it really is such a steep climb.
Final 30 seconds now, and Vitality have taken about a minute to do very little. I don't think Hungry has moved more than a single step. Instead, Vitality have repositioned Bride over towards construction. Hungry bursts on in, but Bride is not able to do much to help him. He needs to find 3 kills through a narrow doorway with 2 shields staring him down and a cross that's going to be established from inside of CCTV and red stairs, and he's going to get neither of them. He gets gunned down, and Empire showing us why Clubhouse is so defender-sided, especially after you lose all of your hard breach on this bomb site. very methodical hold from them. And really, Vitality lost that in the first 10 to 15 seconds of that execute, where they decided, let's just rush into the site. They had limited information. They lost all their gunfights. Nobody could stop the 2 players from Empire who were at the top of red stairs. And you just lost it. That's it. 3 members of Vitality were dead. You traded out a single member onto Empire. That's not good enough when you have limited utility remaining and tons of time for the defenders to just sit and wait. That's it. So kind of hard to break all that down, barring the excellent bandit tricking that happened in the garage downstairs as Vitality looked to try and go through that garage and they had to retool elsewhere. It was very firmly Empire that entire way down.
I don't know if it was really a retooling, because for me, like in the beginning, you see how the Hibana is using the X-Kairos, and it's if you can open the angle, then great, you can try to deal pressure the bandit through the window, but once you saw that the bandit is actually downstairs in garage, you're delaying him as much as you can, so that you can open the opposite end, which is that server wall. You have the utility for it. The Thatcher isn't banned in this case, so there's no way to stop you. It was very well done from Vitality to read into this and double down with the dumping the X-Kairos onto the wall in garage to make sure that the bandit is going to stick around, because either way he's not going to be able to save one wall or the other. So, you know, he's sitting there, he runs directly to one of the garage walls, is able to trick that, save it from the 2 X-Kairos, but it was kind of the prize that was hanging the carrot atop of the stick. The real prize was that server wall. Unfortunately, the rush in, as Vitality were planning for, did not work out. You saw the diffuser that was, you know, down in the hallway, and you're not going to recover that anytime soon. So Empire definitely read it back, and it was a very well done round for Team Empire. They're going to go down to Church and still playing with a ton of shields here, as you can see. Well, at least, you know, 2 of them between the Echo and the Smoke. 1 set of nitro cells, or 1 nitro cell there for Shepard. Dan with the double impacts to deal with Hibana on the kitchen hatch, and you got Joystick with wired wire. Overall, you got a ton of utility to use here for Empire. It just matters where you put it and if it's put in the right place. Hungry and the rest of the squad of Vitality still have the right counters for it all.
This lineup is very standard, and most teams that have access to both Hibana and Thermite are going to run them. Clubhouse necessitates 2 hard breachers just because of all the work that needs to be done. If you're attacking Church Arsenal, you need to take the hatches out, which require Hibana. You're not going to just use Thermite for that job, and then you're likely going to keep the exothermic charge for dirt or Church wall. So that's obviously, from basic math, more than 1 hard breacher's job. Same thing with cache CCTV. You're usually going to have somebody take out that cache wall, which is inside of construction, and then the CCTV wall as well. Even Gym Master, you're very likely going to see that jacuzzi wall, possibly construction wall, possibly even cache, with the way that teams play it out. Then after that, you need loads of soft destruction to deal with any Goyos, Maestros, anything that you see utility-wise, ADSs, you know, magnets from Wamai in this case. Goyo is banned, but you've still got plenty of soft destruction that will be required from the attackers, and then obviously a Thatcher as well to just deal with all the anti-gadgetry that comes your way. And you see that teams tend to get bogged down in the mud if Thatcher is banned, because they have a hard time dealing with every single little bit of gadget here. So yeah, this lineup that Vitality brings is very flexible. They've managed to open up a part of this church wall using said utility, and missed out on a kill on a Karzeka as well, as the final push is going to come in round number 8, and it's going to be a Moto drop. All hands on deck over towards Church with a split push from Brede over in blue.
There's a drop to Moto. And do you know there's 1 player around the corner? Yes, you do. Davin around the corner, and Smoke will be finished off. Very well done there to take out Kercheka. And Bibu takes a lot of damage in that gunfight. He didn't have grenades to chuck down, so if you're asking why did he not use utility, it was already used before and to no avail. Vitality haven't lost a ton of drones here, as you can tell. In the last 15 seconds of the round, they still have a decent chunk of them to use. So a lot of info, and we're in a 5v2 advantage for Vitality here on the entry of Brede. A great shot onto Scyther, but Shepard is last alive as Brede swings wide from blue and gets the last at the back of Armory. So very well done here from Vitality. They had information, they had utility that was well used, and Empire, they kind of faltered because of that hole that was opened up by the Hibana. I don't know what happened with the Qa'id, but still, that hole just opened too many opportunities for Vitality, and they capitalize. Vitality guarantee a single point at the end of the day, and Empire right now, they're sweating bullets. They know that they needed 2 victories to be in the top one, potentially fight against Rogue. And right now, sitting at 19 points, their maximum going to get 1 to get to 20. And with one more play day after this, the maximum they can get is only 23. That second place is now slipping so painfully away from them.
Attackers need to locate.
It'll be a rough run for Empire as well. And I mean, you'll have to see how they stack up in regards to the tiebreaker right now, because Na'Vi is at 22 points, if my memory serves me correctly. If Empire can't get a single point here, then if Na'Vi has the tiebreaker, then, well, that's it, right? Na'Vi did against Empire. I'm just going to scroll through and try to find it very quickly. Empire defeated Na'Vi 7-1 and then defeated them 7-5. So Empire does have that tiebreaker in hand against Na'Vi. So there's still a chance that they can make it up to second place. But you're right, it is very much slipping away. I don't know what's in the water for Empire. I really don't. This team has not looked like themselves. After they won the Raleigh Major, it has been a very swift decline for this team. They came close to making Tokonami, but they fell just short. They blew out in group stages at the 6 Invitational in what I consider to be the group of death. As we want to put this into greater context for everybody that's watching, in the group that also saw FaZe go home, in which Dark Zero and Fnatic ended up emerging out of, with Fnatic, surprising a lot of people by taking down both Empire and then G2 as well. A great run for that Australian team. So I'm not sure. I really don't. I kind of scratch my head at what's going on with Empire. They have dropped off very quickly. I don't know if some of it is that maybe they're not calling effectively. Maybe their strats are just being picked apart by teams. Maybe they're doing the same thing over and over again, as we used to see Empire do. They didn't really change things up. They did the same thing every time, and they just simply beat you in gunfights. Well, they're not winning gunfights right now. It's a huge problem. If you're going to do the same thing strategically and teams know where you're coming from, fine, but you better make sure that you're capable of winning every single fight. And in this case, you're not. So I don't know what's going to change for them, but Vitality on attack, that previous round, that was very smart from Vitality and played very well. And now on what is usually a site that is less defendable, Empire is going to hang their hat on this matchup.
So how do you move on with this? As you said, yeah, there's still potential for Empire to move through, but they're facing off against Rogue in the last playday. Not a great gunfight. Oh, there's the grenade. Dan will be shot down thanks to Bibu, and Bride will find one more through the server. Karjeka trying to outsmart Vitality, but they've yet to see anyone outsmart Bullet. So Bride hits the shot that was necessary there, leaving Joystick Shepherd and Scyther as the last 3 alive of Team Empire. A lot of time, a ton of utility, and the Habana's doing work to breach into Bathroom. This is going all the way Vitality, and no matter how you look at it. Even a plant here behind the reinforcement is very possible. There's one down. You don't need to deal with any of the utility. You just go in for the gunfights. The flank, though, coming around here, Scyther knows there's a plant. He tries to swing into the buck, but it's a bit too late. Close to a flawless round here as Joystick has to go up the central stairs. Diffuser's being set by Bibu as he has no time to get Goga back up. And flawless for Vitality, victorious at round 9. It is a 7-2, again, victory for Vitality.
Empire's going to be beating themselves up over that one. This used to be a map that you just did not take this team to, period. And, well, that's not the case. You not only get taken to Clubhouse, but they just crush you on every single step. Vitality goes 5-1 on defense. We speculate, okay, this is just a defender-sided Clubhouse. We see them an awful lot.
13-2?
Yeah, Brede had a pretty good match. Yeah, I mean, does it shock you? Brede is so clutch, right? He's so clutch in the long run, and he really excelled in that match. He had the ace. He was able to, deny a plant as well. He was all over the place, and if he's not the MVP, then what are we even doing here?
Very true. I completely agree with you. Of course, the MVP votes are something that are reserved for the Twitter polls, so make sure you guys go and vote for or on them on twitter.com/ESL Rainbow 6. But here we have our highlighted player. We'll talk about that later. We're going to hopefully get our interview ready with Team Vitality, as, man, that was very impressive. Taking down Empire in that fashion. They had a rocky couple rounds, but otherwise Vitality adapted, and that's the entire point in goal. Empire were too slow. Time management was off. They lost way too many drones trying to find where Vitality are, and never were able to capitalize on those drones that were lost. 2 were left in that one infamous round where they're trying to push into Gym Bedroom. And Goga just held inside a bathroom forever, it seems, just because of his bandit tricking, because of the mirror window that was brought. All the utility is exploited so perfectly from Vitality. And I have to say, this is also for Vitality that did not play this way in the past few days. We're like, where has this been? You put up, some good numbers against G2, but you need to do it more consistently. And maybe this is the start, maybe a bit too late for it.
Well, I believe we should have an interview ready for you, Milos, so you can give that up to them. I think Vitality's just got a case of the Mondays, so go ask Bibu as many questions as you'd like, and we'll hear what he has to say about that matchup.
All right, see you in a couple hours, Parker. We'll be right back. Bonsoir, Bibu. How are you doing?
Bonsoir, good night. I'm good. I'm just feeling super good now. It's kind of hard these last weeks, so it's feeling good to just recover the win.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, Vitality, you guys have had, one tie against Chaos is the point that you're able to get. Last time we saw a victory from you was played in number 7 in January before Invitational. So it definitely has been a while, and this is going to be a big boost for the team, regardless of what we look at it. But Team Empire taking them to Clubhouse. I want to ask you this. You were the team that had the last say on the bans. There was Coastline, there were Clubhouse, and you went for a Coastline ban to play on Club. How was this premeditated by you as players and your coaching staff to take Empire to it?
To be honest, with the last results, we were more like we need to play on our comfort zone. Just don't think about counter them. Just play how we can have fun. That's the most important now, to try to get a win. That's what we made. We had the choice between Coastline and Club. They were not doing really well on Coastline this last days, but we were like, it's always a good map for them, they were struggling maybe a little bit in defense, but it's still a good map for them. They come back against Chaos, and it's not a map that's known for our good plays on it. We are good on it, but not like as Empire did and are. So we said just go Clubhouse. Last week was just a mistake. To be honest, we didn't play good, on border and stuff like that. The other team were very above us, but against Rogue it was more like we're not playing at very good, and we were doing a lot of mistakes. So just go back on Clubhouse, guys, on our comfort zone. Go fight Empire on the map, and they are not as confident as they were before. So just play as good as we know we can play, and do our best.
And I want to ask you about something, because you were talking about mistakes and stuff like that. A lot of people looking at a specific round where Stigi was playing Habana, you were attacking into cache and servers. There was only one bandit. There's no Clyde or something being played by Team Empire, and they fully reinforced Garage. The Habana started opening up Garage and then used all of the rest of the Exkyrus to open up the wall. Was that done on purpose so you could open server wall, or was it a mistake?
No, it was not a mistake. When I'm talking about mistake, it's more like a micro game and macro game. That's timings and stuff like that, maybe stuff, but not like on big stuff like that, like the Outbreacher and like at Thatcher. We are doing good on this part. It's more like on the timings and try to be coordinated. Sometimes it's hard, but now. Yeah, it was doing on purpose. Stigi does his job, what we asked for him, and he did it good. We just I think it's on the run where we try to rush. I'm not sure, but it was just a try.
It definitely looked like it in that way, because you might look at it from the outside, not knowing what the strategy was. You think of it as a mistake, but it was premeditated, pre-planned.
Yeah, it's more like it was more like we have 5-1 advantage leads. Just try to rush to surprise them. Maybe it will work. And if it's not working, we are still 5-2 leads. So it's okay, guys. We can try test. And like I said, we are trying to get fun. So a rush is always fun when it's going good. But they were prepared.
Definitely so. Well, Empire ended up banning the Goyo, and you guys went for the Valkyrie. Was this a specific ban going from you so you could leave the meta open to play her later?
The fact is, we knew that Dan is really good on his Valkyrie and playing always Valkyrie, And we know that it's hard to have like an IQ on the comp, especially on Clubhouse, because you need to a lot of stuff like Thatcher, Termite, Hibana is like obvious picks, and after it's like you need explosive because there is shield, but sometimes there is Echo Drone and Valk. So we ban one, so like this they have no a comfort pick for Dan. And at the same time, they don't ban Mira. It was like, okay, they ban Goyo because they are not playing Goyo a lot too. But it's okay. We know that they will probably not play Mira because they are not used to it. So we try on once round and it works perfectly well. And after we just played our game, and yeah, it was doing on purpose too for the ban, and I think it worked well for us.
It definitely did, and kudos to Goga playing the Bandit so exceptionally well for the team and surviving so long inside a bathroom on that bedroom and gym take. So overall, very well done. This is the team vitality that you wanted to see through the second half. We wanted to see since the start of this season. So you're here on Interview Bibu. This is the season that everybody's taking as the trial season. Make sure you iron out your problems so you can prepare for the future. So anything you'd like to say to all the fans out there that have been supporting Vitality since day one in PL?
Just thanks to all those fans and supporters that we have, because it was a hard period. It's still one. It's not because we won. We have one win that it's done. We still have a lot of issues sometimes. So we need to fix it, and we are trying to do it. Everyone on the team, the staff and head staff, players, analysts, coach, like everyone is doing his best to solve this. But it's hard sometimes because you don't have any solutions, and you are in a bad mood. So thanks to all the support every day. It's like it's so awesome to have these supporters. So thanks. And yeah, like I'm playing with fucking great guys, because like Hungry is always positive. Sorry for the word, but it's obvious. Like Hungry is always positive. Brede is always a great player. Like you look at there, he's just dropped 13 kin and 2 deaths. Like he carried so much around. Goga too is like trying his best every day with the bad mood that we have, and it's good. And Stiggy too, like trying to push himself every day too, and like it's so good to play with players like this. So yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll try to get a win for the last match. Thanks.
It's a big game coming up. It's going to be Vitality versus BDS in that last play day number 14, April 13th. That's Monday night. So Bastien, thank you again. A great game from Vitality. So we can't wait to see what you have in store for us between Afi and Liliun for your strategies as well. And in the next game, a lot to prepare against BDS, I'm sure. Until then, bonne soirée, bonne nuit. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bonne soirée. Goodbye.